and welcome to Cinemondo. We have a full house. I'm here with Melanie for Pardesi, and we have the director and two of the main actors in the movie called How's That for a Monday? Very excited to talk to you guys. I thought that movie was so fun, and I loved it because it actually shot in my town, California, my town, my whole state. Exactly. We'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, very excited to see everybody. Okay, so everybody just introduce yourselves and just a little quick intro on who you are and who you are in the movie. We'll start with the director.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Sripal Sama. I'm the writer, director, and producer of How Is That for a Monday? And many other things. Yeah.
Many other things.
Many other things.
All right. And then Keegan.
My name is Keegan Guy. I play the main bad guy, the villain, and I go around and stumble through the entire movie and try to make bad things happen, but I'm not very good at it.
Well, you have a bullet in you, so that makes it a little harder.
Yeah, and then I get shot
Most
too.
of the
so
time.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know, spoiler,
It happens pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then Kaushik.
Hi, my name is Kaushik Ghantasala. I play protagonist in How Is That for a Monday? So I play the character Shyam, and I'm the good guy. So I think the more details will be revealed in the film. Sripal is like looking at me like, are you going to reveal something? But I'm not.
It's like, is he really that good?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. He's too sweet and cute to be totally good. It just doesn't work that way. So, all right. So let's start off. So this to me is sort of indie thriller, kind of a crime thriller. And it has that kind of sly sense of humor. There's a lot of like snappy dialogue, which I really liked. And it just has a really contemporary feel to it. Tell me how you came up with the idea, Sripal, and then how you found these actors.
So we wanted to do something like we can fund. At that point of time, I knew that I have to produce it, so I know roughly what my budget is. So that was one of the factors in writing. When you have a low budget, you do something that happens at one place or in one day, that kind of stuff. So that's how I think that was the main factor. And then a lot of things that are going on, in the society, at that time, right after the pandemic, different things going on that kind of influenced the writing somewhat. And then there was one movie, Uncut Gems. I watched the film, I think, a few months before, and I wanted to do in that style. It's completely different film, but that was a little bit of an inspiration. So these three were the main things.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You got any questions, Melanie, about that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the script was very clever. Basically, for me, the film took off when Kaushik, his character, entered the screen, and we were off to the races.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved about it, Kaushik is playing an immigrant in LA, and he's speaking to, I assume it's his girlfriend, Chinnu, and they're speaking in Telugu, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about if this was completely Hollywood produced or whatever, that they would have been speaking in English, that's not natural. That's not what would have really happened. So I just wanted to tell you that I really love that. And so if you could tell me about your, thinking behind that, because that probably was a decision. Which way should we go with this?
Yeah, no, while writing, it felt natural to do it that way. But then I knew even at that point of time, if I take it to, let's say, an OTT platform or a distributor, they would be like, what is this? Like, is it Telugu or is it English? How do I consider it? That challenge we knew would be there, but also we thought, just like how you felt, the audience might appreciate the fact that the originality, So it's sort of a little bit of a bold step, I would say. We took it because it felt right, Yeah.
Well, and also you mentioned before we started recording that not only is this film going to be released in the US, but it's going to be released in India. So I think that's another way to reach multiple audiences. So I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Kaushik, how did you approach your character? Because he's, your character is a little more gray area because you weren't sure whether you could trust you or not. You were, kind of an arrogant guy in the beginning, but then you sort of, you go on this journey, which I think was really interesting. But our loyalties are always with your character. How did you approach that?
So, like I have studied in US. I have worked there for a couple of months, so I kind of know, like the kind of way any. Yeah, yeah. So, so I kind of had an idea of it, and then like I think I was the kind of last guy that came into this film. So I've been in the last. Then me and Sripal, we had a couple of sessions on how it is going to happen. So I think the major help from Sripal was he was telling me, like, use the Indian accent, don't use the American accent, and be stick to your to the original idea of how a immigrant would generally act, or generally would have a body language or something. So I was just playing in that. And then I think there are a couple of scenes that are, I think it's kind of a balance on how the script is going. I had a good idea on how it was going. We had some discussions and talks, and I think we were able to figure it out finally.
That's great. And then, of course, Keegan, you get to have all the fun because you get to be the bad guy, which is always the most fun, right? So how did you approach that character? Because you're a bad guy, but you're sort of entertained by this guy, so you're kind of intrigued. It wasn't like this repellent bad guy. So tell us about that.
Yeah. I try to have a little. I've played a bad guy a time or two, if you can imagine. And
what?
Yeah. Sometimes I look like Mr. Steal Your Girl or something like that. So I try to put a little humanity into the bad guy, because the bad guy always believes that what he's doing is the right thing. And no matter how convoluted it gets, because I think my character, Casey, is he's very self-serving and arrogant. But then at the same time, too, you almost see some humanity, because I have somebody who's like an overlord for me also. So I'm also like trying to survive myself. So I think there's a lot of layers to everything. And then obviously as an actor, that's the whole fun of it, is not just saying, oh, he's the bad guy, I hold the gun and I look mean. Right. There's a lot more to it. And I think, I would hope that would show up on screen, because like all the actors on this set, I mean, we all put a lot of work in, and Sripal too, and everybody on the team. So it's like, we hope that the details and the hard work that we've put in really show up on screen. And I think we accomplished that.
I think it did.
Yeah, there were so many details that I loved. For instance, your first encounter with Megan Barlow, who plays the caregiver of a certain important character. And the fact that I mean, I just absolutely love that here is this woman character of a certain age, and she was a badass herself.
Yeah.
She was a bad guy. Spoiler.
I know, it's like, I'm the worst bad guy ever. Like, she just handled the whole situation, just took care of me, but
I know, and
it happens.
It was
really
epic.
It was really funny. I know. I mean, your two scenes, you're introduced, you get your ass handed to you, then you show up and the next one gets shot. So you're like you are the worst bad guy in the world.
Yeah. It's almost like that was by design. I'm not sure, Sripal, but it's almost like you wrote it that way.
Did you write that before or after you met Keegan? Because it sounds like you had it out for him. I don't know.
I actually met him before I auditioned him for a different movie, which we couldn't make. So I had him in mind. I probably had him in mind while writing. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. The part was written for you.
Yeah. I auditioned.
Like good or bad?
Yeah, it was probably 2 years before I auditioned for you, and then I got an email or a call, and he was like, "Hey, this one's good for you, I think." And I read it, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm in.
This is me, the Steal Your Girl guy. Call me up.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot me. Yeah, shoot me. Let's go."
By then, he actually moved to different part of California, but he traveled he drove every weekend, and he went above and beyond, like every other actor, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sripal, can you tell us how long was the filming? What was, did you have to do it under a tight, small number of days, or did you have to stretch it out as you got funding, or how did that work?
No, we did it in like a small number of days. So it was a 22-day stretch, but we
Oh, that's
shot
short.
for we shot for 14.5 days in that time, and then we did another a day and a half patchwork, like the flashback scenes and stuff like that. So it was very tight. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. How did you pick your location to shoot?
Yeah, so at that time I was living in Orange County, Irvine.
Oh, okay.
So like I thought, again, Orange County had a character sort of. So I thought I'll place it at different cities. Like if this guy started here at morning and he started going, kept walking, which city would he be in? That kind of a design we did. Yeah, and sometimes we don't have too much choice. You get this pawn shop, that's it. So that was there too. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, Kaushik, you were the last to come to the project, but did you audition? I mean, I guess it's kind of a dual question because Sripal and Kaushik. Why, and how did you approach that character from that standpoint?
So actually, the previous film that Sripal was talking about, me and Sripal are supposed to do that film, but during the COVID time, we weren't able to pull it off. So then I know Sripal was writing a script, so we were like, we are very close. We keep talking on the phones and all. So I know he was writing a script. He has sent me the first draft of it. He just told me like, just give it a read. When I read it, I felt it was very interesting. So I asked him like, now who is doing this Sham? Then he said, no, I have to find a local guy here because bringing you from India and affording all that expenses it would be very expensive. But luckily, I think it again got back to me. I had to literally travel on my birthday. Like I was at the airport on my birthday. He just informed me like 2 days before he informed me that I'm in this project. Even
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Birthday gift, yeah. So I think even before for the film we auditioned, we have done workshops and all, but we can audition for this film. Like we knew each other like for 6-7 months by the time.
Okay.
But then he said no, you have to audition for this film. So I sent him a video audition, and then he said, yeah, now we have to travel. Come book your ticket. Can I travel after my birthday? He said, no, you can't. You have to travel.
No, we can't.
Dedication.
Indie filmmaking. What are you gonna do?
And that was like COVID time, 2021.
Yeah.
So we traveled, and I think then after that, once we got there, and it was fine. We started working on the script and all. And I'll tell you an interesting trivia. The script version he sent me was not the final version at the end. So I was having it and when we both were discussing, I was telling some other points and he was telling me some other points. Like then he realized that I
Oh, no.
He was thinking, what the hell are you talking? And then he figured out, I had too many versions and I got confused, but it was on me.
And you're like, Kaushik does not understand this character at all. What is happening? Oh, that's the wrong script. Never mind.
Yeah, that's exactly. Other dialogue, some other scene that was not there in the final script.
Were you sad to miss those scenes, or do you feel like it was an improvement? Because sometimes you think you're like, oh, I was going to be so good in that scene.
No, it was definitely an improvement. But there was one scene I liked in the previous script with Yolanda, but that scene missed, and it got better still. Oh. But I still more like it. I think I'll tell it after the release. I'll tell you what scene.
We saw it, so you can tell us.
No, but this is gonna go live.
That is true. All right, you're right. Okay, we'll wait till that.
It was a good scene, but it was more like a kill your darlings. The scene was good, but what we have now fits better. That way. Yeah.
That's funny because it starts off like it's going to be like a crime, extortion, organized crime thing, and then it actually has kind of a sweet, like kind of heart to it at the end, especially like all the the plot revolving around the I guess he's the man with dementia who was an Olympic winner. You know, that was all really sweet, and I feel like a lot of people got redeemed through that, except you, Keegan. You suck, but you know.
That's my through line. I have a simple through line. He sucks. Wait, does he? Yeah, he does. And then at the end, you're like, yeah, he still sucks.
Yeah, he's not good. He's still bad. Yeah. We'll take care of that. I know. So anyway, but that was because you were kind of thinking. I was really bummed when Keegan got shot. And then I thought, oh man, he was so good. And then when he wasn't dead, I was like, okay, this is all spoilerific. I will make sure we warn people because we have to talk about it. But very happy to see you show up again throughout the film.
I was too.
Because you two, also Kaushik, you know, just having the two in the film together, it's just this opposite, you know, kind of conflict going on. So I really like that. So that was all really good. And I thought that would be a bad ending for your character because you were kind of get attached to this bad guy and then he's just gone. You don't want that. But I did like the kind of roller coaster of the sort of tone of the film where it starts one way and you're kind of caught off guard. You never quite know. So at that point you're like, well, I'm not going to try and predict what's going to happen because, you know, you just don't know. But the whole time we're with Kaushik. Come on, dude. Come on. So we were rooting for you. So how much of this film, I know you wrote the script and you worked on it, how much of it's kind of happening organically as you're directing? Like, do the actors bring something to you and you collaborate and kind of improve the scene? Like, how does that work as the collaboration creative process?
Yeah. One thing was every single actor, pretty much every single actor, you know, a lot of them, some of them have experience, some of them don't, but they are all professional. They are serious in their, you know, in the business. Mm-hmm. So they all came, they read the script, they prepared by hearted the lines, and they all came. So that made it the life very easy. Yeah. And then sometimes, I think it's always the case. The kind of version they have in mind for that particular line would be different. And then, you know, when you, like, for example, you know, Keegan's character, he says to Yolanda, "Don't look at me like that," you know. So he had a complete different interpretation of that. But then I tell him, no, I was thinking this way. And then he understands what it is. Yeah. It was just, yeah.
I make strong choices, Sripal. I make very strong choices. If I'm wrong, I lean into it. Or I guess not wrong that's the wrong word. I guess it was just different, right?
Different. I want to hear your different line reading of the one you thought it was.
You know, now it's like, what did I even? Now he beat it out of me. So now I don't remember what, you know.
You're so traumatized.
I'm whipped into shape. Yeah.
It wasn't like, don't look at me like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like a romantic kind of emotion.
Yeah. Hey, don't look at me like that.
Yeah. Kind of like,
I was like, oh no, you're gonna shoot me? Don't shoot me. You know,
or please shoot me. Yeah.
And he was like, you read the script? Okay. But he corralled me in. You know, he reeled me in, and we figured it out. So
no, but seriously, the fact that an actor came with a version itself is a sign that they actually prepared, you know. So that's what I was trying to say. It helped, you know. They took it seriously. So I was able to have a easy conversation and tell what I think of that particular line or things like that. And a lot of it was, you know, maybe up to 3-4 takes, not more than that. Most shots. Yeah.
Right.
Well, when you're on a tight budget, you don't have time. You don't have the luxury of time to do tons of takes of different things.
Yeah. And just one more thing, like the rooftop scene, the car parking scene, that kind of scenes. So number one is every actor came with their own wardrobe. So was Keegan. Like, he got 10 pairs of the clothing because there's blood, and we may need new additional takes and stuff. And then particularly on the rooftop, it was so cold, and he was on a sleeveless and it was very difficult. And I should have told him as soon as I say cut, hey, come on, get up. But I'm sort of involved in the scene. I forget about him. It was very not nice, but he was. That was just an example. But every actor, they really went above and beyond. If not, this movie could not have happened in that budget and schedule.
Sripal, I wanted to. Oh, I'm sorry, Kaushik. You go ahead.
Yeah, Sripal generally even forgets to say cut, and then
That's why Rahul's there. He goes, all right, cut.
Yeah,
And all the actors like, are we still going?
Are we done? Or yeah.
Maybe that uncertainty added something. I don't know. We might have.
I mean, honestly, I forgot, but I would say, that is a trick, that adds a little bit more performance. Yeah.
That's my actor's technique,
Yeah.
where I let them sort of improv when I'm not letting them know what's happening. Uncertainty is always good.
Yeah. Also, I say cut a few seconds later, and then that is actually kind of a challenge to actors, and we get some really good reactions at that point of a shot. That really helps. Yeah.
See, he was helping you guys.
Sripal, I wanted to mention that some of the details of the script that I really loved. It was a really fresh concept, having a guy who worked in IT be held at gunpoint because fix this app.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, that was one of the key things about the script that I'm like, okay, this is really funny. This is something I have not seen before. This is really fresh, and I really loved it. So can you tell us kind of how you just came up with that whole idea? Because do you have experience in the industry where you were like, okay, I felt like a gun was to my head with some of this.
No, the script, like as I said, right, I had those few pointers in my mind when I started writing, and then some themes they came in the process of writing, like the customer care theme, or the app, those kind of things, and the fact that we wanted to keep Kaushik's or Shyam's portions in Telugu. All of that actually came naturally as we started, as we were doing the versions. But I think it's more of my preparation over the years, and the sensibilities that I built. It just naturally took a place. Yeah.
So do you have, each of you can answer this question. Do you have a favorite scene or moment that you feel like you did your best work? Like, is there one scene where like, oh, I really nailed that, or that was a great scene? Do you have any favorites? We'll start with Kaushik.
Yeah, I think I really like the scene where I speak with Christopher Carteret. I don't know, like how, right, like not in terms of like, even in terms of acting and the way it was written.
Right.
I think that is like my favorite scene in the whole film. Even when I watch it, whenever I see that scene, I feel that's like a very strong scene, strongly told scene. And if you ask me my reaction, I think at the burger joint.
Oh, yeah, the burger joint. That was funny. That was good. Sometimes I think it isn't necessarily about like the action or the camera work and things. Some of it's just that good solid dialogue scene, and when you nail that like just really brings it home. So what about you, Keegan? Do you have a favorite scene of yours?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think I'm not a goofball, but just this, I'm like stumbling through the whole film, and finally by the end I have some redemption in terms of like man, this guy actually, it's more than just, oh, he's the punching bag.
Right.
So I thought the ending scene where I'm confronting it, like when we got guns coming out, and it felt really cool. It felt good, and I think that was probably the least amount that usually my favorite scenes tend to have less lines but more poignant lines, like things that it's just like, this is what needs to be said, and the rest of it is just shown, and like that's the medium we use, and that's
true.
And I think Sripal did a great job with writing and then also directing the scene, and Rahul is amazing cinematographer, so everything just kind of came together really nicely, and the way that scene looks, I absolutely love. But then the flip side of that, if I can also answer that question again, is that it was really fun to play all those scenes and like just poke my counterparts, because if I'm an idiot and I'm leading these guys and I'm thinking they're idiots, how dumb are we collectively as a group, and it's like we just look like such buffoons, and like that's the whole point of it, like that's the redeeming quality in a way too, I think. But So I think,
That's true.
yeah, I guess that's a cop out saying like every
No.
scene, you know, the ending and the middle and the beginning.
I
But
love
it was,
every scene I'm
you know,
in.
yeah, and it's I just it was just a very I think the crew and the team and the writing and it just when it all comes together like that, it's all a good experience. So I guess that would be what I think.
That's
Everything.
awesome.
I really the scene where you talk to the IT manager. I really like
Yeah.
that.
That was great.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That was a
God.
fun one too. And that's kind of the epitome of the guy can't. He's like trying to do the thing, and I'm just getting so annoyed. And it's like if you look at a different scene with me, I look like a buffoon too. Like it's so backwards. Like the way these my crew interacts. Like it's yeah. That was a good scene too. I like
It
that
was
one.
really good. Well, I think that it
Sripal,
really
what
worked.
Sripal, what was your favorite? If you have one from the film.
Yeah, there are a few scenes I really like, but I think there's one scene, the conversation between Chris and Yolanda after Sham leaves with the medal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So that the performances I really like the way they talk over each other. It was so organic that I mean, it felt like it's really happening on the set when we were directing. So that frankly that's the kind of directing I want to do, the performance I want to get throughout the film. So that's I think that stands out in that sense. Yeah.
That's cool. I think my favorite scene, and it's when everyone's together. We have Kaushik, Keegan, they're in the room. Cop comes to the door. That whole scene of everyone trying to hide what's happening, trying to communicate, that was so Tarantino and the best of Tarantino. Where it's just like, what, like it feels like everything, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, oh my God, are they going to pull this off? What is happening? Like, and you didn't know he was even a cop yet. I mean, that was a perfect scene to me. It was like everyone's doing their best in that moment. I loved it.
It's hard for me to pick one particular favorite, but I loved how you just led the audience. Like literally, I love a script where I don't even know what's going to happen next, right? Like because there's so much content that we watch that's so predictable, and that we're like, yeah, I know where this is going. Okay, But here, so many times I really, really didn't know, and especially when the cop comes to the door, we didn't know he was a cop, and just the way that all played out. And like Yolanda's character, the caregiver, surprising us and confronting the thugs. Like, I'm not expecting that.
That was so good.
Even small moments of Kaushik, your character having kind of these jokes with your girlfriend on the phone. What's up?
That was so cute.
I love that. We never saw her face, but
no budget to hide a.
It was Sripal on the other side of the phone the whole time. Hey, he was just responding back.
Modulator.
Yeah.
So good.
No, but I just loved.
Oh wait, Kaushik was saying something.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, or anyone from there in the set, and they were responding to me on the messages. Yeah.
So they were actually responding to you. You didn't have to pretend like they were. They actually were.
Yeah, they were responding.
Okay.
It was not a VF. It was
okay.
Yeah.
You got to react to it. Did you try and throw him off at all by sending him some weird text he didn't expect, just to see what?
We didn't have time for that.
We don't have a budget for anything off the cuff. No improv.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Did you create like a character for this girlfriend, or you didn't have time or money for that, Kaushik? Did you like imagine in your head what she looked like? Did you have like a whole background on your character? Are you method like that, or you just knew?
No, I really didn't have a.
You're like, no, I'm not even. Not gonna go there. Oh my God.
We were suggested after the movie was put together by a few people. Maybe have a show of face. Do a split screen or show of face. But then I thought, like, do we really have to do?
No.
It worked. Yeah. So we left it that way. That's another little bit of a unusual decision. Yeah.
I think it also made Kaushik's character feel more isolated, like separate. There's more distance. He lost his job. His girlfriend, he's not anywhere near her. You don't even know what she looks like. Like that vast emptiness sort of, I think, helped propel this character you think wouldn't do these things to do these things. And I like too how she's trying to insinuate, like, you got all this bad luck now. He's like, nah. And then later he's like, yeah, maybe. I need to figure this out. But I mean, I think it's the floundering, it's like, I thought that was a really cute, like really cool dynamic of not showing that.
Kathy, I think you have the right point. It made him feel more isolated to not even know what she looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we show her, then we should show at what place she's in, what's happening. You have to establish a character a little, and again, it's an additional budget, time. And like and she's only coming doing the calls, and she has nothing to do with the actual plot of the film.
Right.
So it would feel like a half-ended character. I think that was another we thought we shouldn't do it.
Yeah. It made your character seem a little sadder, which also made you want to support him more. So this poor guy, he can't even be with his girlfriend, and then like he's bothering her. It's like it's sad.
By the way, I sold that thing. Oh
no! What? So good. So I do movie posters for my real job, and I'm always interested in how you came about doing your movie poster. Like, how does that come about? Did you do a special shoot with Kaushik, or did you use something from the movie? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, so this is my first feature, right? And I was always thinking, would you do a photo shoot? I mean, it has to come from the movie. Actually, the image has to be part of that. That's what I was thinking. But then I realized that's not always the case, because poster has a little bit of a different dynamics and elements, a different spacing of things and stuff like that. So we tried making posters with screen grabs from the actual movie. I think we did get a couple of good posters, like Keegan's was that. But then, for like an actual concept poster, we couldn't do. So then Kaushik was in Hyderabad by then. So we told him, he actually took the shirt with him, because if we need to do anything like that. Yeah.
Nice.
wow.
Yeah.
Did you do your own shoot by yourself?
No.
Is that what happened?
No. He has the shirt, so we hired a photographer.
Oh, you hired it?
Yeah, and then we took some 200-300 pictures of in different ways, and then
of him walking with his sad little box after he got fired. So sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done movie posters using my iPhone. I've done photo, like you said, screen grabs, the unit. You just use what you got, stock.
Right.
Now we're using AI. No, we're not. We're not using that. But it's like you're just trying. Sometimes the idea isn't there, so you're having to like cobble it together, So I liked your poster because it's very conceptual. It told you a lot, like you said, a lot of second read, a lot of information in that kind of gives you a clue. But the crime element was much more shielded. You just thought, oh, this poor guy having a bad day. It's a comedy, and then you find out, oh, it's a little more than that. Okay, then enjoyed that. That was great.
And, I just want to mention the designer, the poster designer's name. His name is Sujan Kudari. He's amazing. He's very professional, and I just want to mention his name.
Yeah. It was a really good poster. I'm very impressed by a lot of the posters that come out of India. They're really slick and very well produced. Very, very good. All right.
Kathy noticed all the details, like the bird ready to poop on Kaushik's head.
Every time I look at a movie poster, I'm like, kind of automatically dissecting it, like how it was put together. Oh, this is a stock street. This is a different car. Oh, there's the bird. Yeah, it's just automatic. I don't even mean to, but I do. Because I put it in the back of my head. I don't remember this idea. This will be good for me to use sometime. Oh, no, it was really good. So let's see what else. So what about the score? So you do you use a composer, or did you find like more kind of needle drop? Like how did you what did you use for the score? How did you approach that?
Yeah, so we hired a composer from America, from Los Angeles. It didn't work out. It's just not working out. So I had to I paid him some advance. I said, I guess that's all. Maybe we'll work for our next movie. It was a little bit difficult to say no to him. And then we found Don Vincent. He's actually from Kerala. He won he's both a sound designer and a music composer. Like for this movie, he did music, but Tovino Thomas Kala, he won Best Sound Designer Filmfare. And then
Nice.
there's a Kuchiku Boban Nathan Keskudu. He
Oh
won
yeah.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
The
he
same
won the
composer
Okay.
from that?
same composer. Yes, yeah.
Damn. I know. I thought
Wow.
the score was really good. I'm like, this had to be custom. That's
Yeah,
not-
no, it's not a stock.
Oh,
So he
I
was,
really liked it. Wow.
he like I feel one of the difficult things for a director or for me is to explain the situation and get the score, the kind of score I want. But he was very easy to work with. I just tell him, like I speak a couple of lines. He's like, okay, okay. Then I would be like, did he understand or not? And the next day he'll come up with exactly, most times exactly what I want. So that was very helpful. Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of times he improvised. He said, I tell him, we might want to use this song. He's like, but let me give you something, and then he gives me something, and then that is so good we don't use this song, and like
nice.
that.
Excellent. That's great.
Very, very, very. He's very, very talented and very professional. Yeah. So yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, music adds so much to a film. I mean, I've seen, like for instance, Sundance has an internship program for up and coming film composers, and they would give them a scene from the movie, and then they each come up, and the music can be so radically different in how you interpret the scene. Seeing the same scene with different music, it can give it a completely different feel. And I just felt like the spot on music. So wow. I didn't even realize it was somebody that I had heard their music before in Indian and films from Kerala. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm
So-
sure he'll come up with some really great stuff in coming years. I feel. Yeah.
So this movie is coming out in a couple of weeks. What is the release date in India and America? Are they the same, or when is it coming out? When can people look for it?
Yeah, it's coming out on October 27th, the Friday, the same date, both in India and here.
Okay.
About 10 screens in each country. The theater list will come out soon. I'll post on my Twitter, Insta, and everywhere when I have it. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. And can this project is coming soon, but can each of you tell us, do you have any other upcoming projects that we should look for and know about? Keegan, let's start with you.
Yeah, right now it's I'm in
yeah.
the hunt. Yeah, I'm in the hunt.
You're
I'm
on
actually
site.
I'm writing a few different things. So I've never made a feature film myself. I've done some shorts and things like that. So I'm trying my hand at a feature film because
Oh.
when somebody hurts you, it's just like, oh, I gotta write about this. So
Like people about this.
yeah, but I'm looking forward to the next project with Sripal and these guys too. So
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
whatever comes up.
What about you,
Kaushik, what's coming for you?
Yeah, so I have another project that's gonna release around like January or something. And there's another project we are planning to start shooting from December. So two in line, just like finding some stuff, good stories around in Hyderabad, in
Okay.
Telugu,
Yeah.
regional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying my best.
Awesome.
And Sripal, what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, I have 3 different rough drafts of scripts. I don't know which one will be done. I'm in talks with some producers and actors, but nothing is solid yet. After this movie releases, I'll see how things go. But yeah, something next year.
Well, definitely
Fantastic.
reach out to us if you want to
Yeah.
talk about anything that's coming up.
Yeah.
We'd love to talk to you guys again. Again, I just love talking about filmmaking, and we'd be happy to talk to you again about any future projects.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for, first of all,
Oh,
staying
wow.
up so late. Oh, Kaushik, more.
Yeah, I talk about Praneeth, the writer, and who has done all the stuff. Like he's one of the writer along with Sripal, and he was the very big help. He was in India shooting,
Oh.
so all the posters, all like the artwork
design.
and the burger artwork, and the many elements that he helped during the show. I think Sripal, you should probably
Yeah.
talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. So as the movie, we started the movie, and then we had some issues with the production designer, so she couldn't continue. Also, the production manager, she had a family stuff going on. So with that, it became like a few things changed. Like we wanted For example, for the second scene, we wanted a door that will break, which we couldn't arrange. um, and a lot of scenes, we wouldn't have the design stuff ready because there's no production designer at that point of time. So my co-writer Pranit, he's in India, so I tell him, like this Dean Johns, give me a logo or two, of how it,
Oh,
and then he would come up give me ideas, and then as I will say, oh, change me this color or maybe add this tagline, and then he'll send me concepts. By morning it will be ready, so when I'm going to the set, I'll go to FedEx, I'll order them for prints, and then when everything is ready, we'll pick the posters and then we'll stick them, and then that kind of stuff.
wow. When it's low budget, everybody has to be multi-talented.
That's right. Many hats.
Many
Sripal,
hats.
do you want to give Scott a shout out?
Yes, Scott is a Hollywood veteran, sound designer, sound effects editor. He worked for many major films like Face Off, Mission Impossible, John Wick, Nightcrawler, really cool movies. So around pandemic, he decided to retire from Hollywood and then work on independent films. And when I posted this job requirement, he applied, and I was very surprised. I thought he didn't see the pay or anything like that. So I called him, did you really see it? He said, yes, of course, man, I saw it. I was okay, great then. Yeah. So cool. And then we started working. I learned a lot of things, the reels and, Academy format and, all of that stuff. But also he showed how the very old different generations of film, how the sound is imprinted on a film and that kind of stuff. Cool. And then also, as I mentioned, he mentioned stories about Quentin Tarantino when he met him the first time, or Spielberg and all of that stuff. It was very it was a lot of fun to work with him. Also a learning experience, but he couldn't continue because he was having his own other priorities going on. So at one point of time, I had to work with a different sound mixer from Mumbai, Robin. Okay. But working with Scott was very. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. It's fun to work with legends who've seen it all, and he's gone through all phases of how we make films. So that's always kind of fascinating to me.
Wow.
Well, thanks you guys for joining us. We really hope to talk to you again on your next projects, whatever they may be, and see you next time.
Wishing you the best of luck for the release of the film later this month.
So much.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you both for taking time to interview us. This is a big support. This is what we need. More people talking about the film and stuff. I want to thank you both for doing this.
Yeah, we love indie films. I really like to support indie films because it's hard to make movies in general, but really independent film, so hard.
So hard. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Fucker's not answering.
He's not here. Are you sure you've been watching the place? Just tell me where he is.
I'm not running away, right?
You think we are stupid? And if 2 million is not enough, then you ask me for more.
Get out of my sight before I decide to put a hole in your head.